Hey everybody, welcome back to another edition of Ask PC 911. And today we got a great question. We've been doing a couple series, a couple shows on choosing a laptop, choosing a desktop, basically making a purchase of the computer. And today's question is going to address that as well. Question for today is, what is the most important factor in purchasing a computer, be it a laptop or a desktop? Good question. Let's answer that. The most important factor is going to be the CPU. The CPU is a central processing unit, or basically the engine, let's say, of the computer, the processor. That's the single most important part because a couple things. Number one, that you're not going to upgrade it. It's not like a changeable item, as in like the hard drive you can upgrade typically, your RAM you could upgrade, things like that. But your CPU, you're just not going to do it. It's not feasible. So you want to start off with a good engine, a good fast engine, and then maybe you could work up from there. So making that choice today more than ever, more and more complicated. Many processors. There used to be what was called the speed, the megahertz. And back in the day when you had a single core processor, you looked at the megahertz, and faster megahertz pretty much gave you a faster processor. Now that's changed. Now the processors have multi-cores, or let's say before they used to be a single lane highway, now it's a multi-lane highway. So you can have a octa-core, let's say an 8-core processor running at, I'm just using figurative numbers here, running at, let's say, 2.5 gigahertz, is going to be faster and basically accomplish more processing than, let's say, a dual core, 3 megahertz. So you really can't look at the megahertz anymore either. Then we go into, luckily there's only 2 brands of processors for the most part. You have AMD and you have Intel. But within them, sometimes a lot of people ask, well, which do you like better? Well, within them, they have slow processors and fast processors. So you can't just, name out Intel is the best. Well, Intel what compared to what? So that gets a little complicated as well. Then sometimes you can narrow it down and say, well, the core series is the current series, and if I go with an i3, or an i5 or an i7, I'm good to go. Well, even in the i3, they're slower and faster, and the i5 slower and faster. And here we're talking about really making a purchase. We're talking about looking at 3 or 4 computers or what have you. And if you have 3 or 4 computers and and all 3 of them have an i3, which one is faster? You want to break it down to the model number. But still, that poses a question: which one is going to be faster? So, to answer that, and you're probably your head's spinning right now, but we're going to answer that very simply. I'm going to give you a website which you're going to go to, and you're going to put in the model of the processor that you're looking at. You're comparing 3 computers. You're going to look at that processor. You're going to input that there. I'd recommend really doing it online. You're not going to probably do it in the store, and that's how I do it. I shop online. I take a look at Best Buy, Tiger, whatever the case may be. I see what they're offering, and then I'll take a look at the benchmarks, and that's going to help me decide which one is better. It's pretty simple. The website, I'm going to put a link under on the show notes on this video, but I'm going to give it to you verbally anyway. It's called cpubenchmark.net. cpubenchmark.net. There's a search feature. You're going to put in your processor, let's say an A6 5200, and it's going to give you back the benchmark score. Forget about what it means. It's just a number. 700 is better than 600, 1,000 is better than 7, etc. 5,000 is better than 4,000. Simple as that. So you're taking a look at 3 computers. You're inputting the different processors, and you're getting the number. All other things being equal, the one with the highest number is going to be the fastest one. So that's, it's pretty much a no-brainer. You don't have to worry about all the intricacies. For example, if I was taking a look at an AMD and an Intel, I would pull up the benchmark, because those are very difficult to compare. For example, an i5 is going to be faster than an i3, pretty much. The slowest i5, well, actually not true, but for the most part, an i5 is going to be faster than i3, and i7 is going to be faster than i5. But when we're going to compare Intel, which would be an i5, let's say, to AMD, very difficult to compare. So you break it down back to the benchmark. I get an i3, I look it up, it gives me a benchmark of 2,000, 2,200. I pull up an AMD, gives me a benchmark of 3500, I'm going with the 3500, you know, all other things being equal. So that's your tip for the day, or your answer for the day. The single most important part of the computer is the processor, the CPU, and you got a link right here to be able to look that baby up and really break it down to which one is the best. See you on the next video.